Every time I go to start a stream, the camera's always off by 1 inch. Not custom training. Okay, so we're gonna go to the shooting range. I did say I was gonna have some more videos about, how to contest certain genres of characters. Genres. Look at me breaking up the fancy French words today. The patch just came in. Took forever to fucking download. Like, it downloaded in seconds, and then copying. Copying. I'm fiddling around on my computer. My computer, by the way, is right.
The strength of the team is each member.
I keep it right next to me.
Strength
That way there
each
lets me,
member
if I need to
is the
edit
team.
things post-video. So, basically, the last video was how to contest front lines. Now, I was going to jump right into healer, but then they pulled Furia and Leon because of bugs. So I started working on my script. I do like a quick little monologue of points in my head of what I want to do for certain themed videos as part of the classes that I teach. So,
The battle is
I ended
about
up
to begin.
skipping and going to flank. So we're going to run flank today, even though Leon and Furia have been reintroduced. I don't know if they fucked with them, besides fixing the audio bug. So rather than safe than sorry, having just logged in, we're going to go with the flanks. So, this is how to contest flank. Now, obviously, how to contest flank is a fairly easy concept in that they're low health, but they're high survivability if you know how to play them, and a lot of people say that there's a lot of weak front lines. Like, right now, Skye is considered a weak front line, Lex is a weak front line, Talus is a weak front line, Moji is a weak front line, because they have low survivability. All of that is bullshit. But, we're going to explain that. Now, I'm going to start from the bottom. Okay, so we're going to go my lowest level to my highest level. So we end it... fuck it. We're going to pick a champion. How about that? Xin! Let's start with Xin.
I need to spend
Now,
my credits.
looking at Xin, what you need to realize when you look at this is that Xin is a very high damage potential champion. Like, seriously, he can play your damage. He has he gets 3 shots every 2 seconds if you look at it that way. If you look at Xin as having 3-round magazines, like every 2 seconds is a 3-round magazine. Whereas you look at Inara, she's got 5 rounds, but each shot deals a certain amount of damage. So basically she has 5 3-round magazines. Xin has 3 3-round magazines. Although a faster reload than Inara does. He is faster. He does have escape skills. What makes Xin annoying? Well, let's find out. First, we're going to do Smolder. We're not really going to do, Retaliation. We're going to do Smolder, and I'm going to show you why. So, what makes Xin annoying? Let's come over here. For one thing, he has the ability to whirl and get in your face, and he has the ability to billow and get in your face. I'm going to kill somebody real quick. And that resets the cooldown on my billow. Oh my god, I'm taking damage! No! Billow out and heal up. So a Smolder Xin to me is one of the most annoying things. Partially because he's not affected by Cauterize when he goes into billow. So it makes him very hard to contend with. Now there are several strategies you can do. For one thing, cripples are very effective. And Inara cripple is incredibly effective on Xin if he comes into the point. Zins generally like to get into the back line. So, here's your tank, here's your healer, here's your damages. Xin should be right here, bunny hopping. Wah! Wah! So, how do you contest a Xin in a situation like this? Well, one thing you need to realize, especially is, you want to make sure you look at their loadout. Pop up your scoreboard. It's not letting me do it now. I'm pushing the button, it's not letting me because I'm in the training ground, but that's okay. You want to make sure that you look. If you see that, if you see Retaliation, and he's got his sword up in front of his face, you don't fucking shoot him. You don't do it. It's bad. It's very bad. A Retaliation Xin, if they know how to run a build, can heal themselves to full health. From literally 1 shot to full health. Let me show you why. So this is the build right here. Now, a lot of people will actually run 250 health, and they don't run the Infamy card. I run the Infamy card at level 5. That's just me. We've already explained this. Shut up, move on. But a lot of people will run Perfect Block and Master Stance at level 5 and level 5, and then they'll have 3 cards with, you know, varying levels as fillers. So, looking at that build as an example, you now have a 2 3/4 second counter state that stays up, and every time you counter, you heal for 250 health. It doesn't even matter on the damage. Vivian wants to sit there and fucking aim down sight and spray you. Koga wants to sit there and aim down sight and spray you. Ruckus wants to sit there and aim down sight and spray you. Bink, 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 bink. No damage, no damage, no damage. Free 250, free 250, free 250, free 250. He's the ultimate fly swatter at that point. One thing to note with flanks, and this is another thing that I have to tell, I stress to people enough. Flanks, contrary to popular belief, their job is not to get kills. Technically, that is their job to get kills. But an effective flank does not have to lead their team in kills. Hold up. Let's just pick something here. Let me explain something to you here. We have a class called damages for a reason. And we have a class called flanks for a reason. What do flanks do? Their job is to get into the back line of the enemy and distract them. They're called flanks because they go into the enemy's flank. Damages are called damage because their job is to do, say it with me now, damage. Now, doing damage generally leads to kills. That's the word I'm looking for. So damages don't have to just sit there and do damage and leave characters one shot for a flank to do. Shaolin's and Strix's are longer range champions as damages. They don't sit back and leave somebody at 1 health and say, you go get it, Sky. They finish the job. Now, that's not to say that flanks don't get kills. A flanker's job is to do heavy burst damage. Now, burst is a big word because everybody refers to the meta, which I've already debunked as bullshit. We'll have another video for that later on. A proper tirade, angry me video. But just strictly what a flank's job is to get into the line and annoy you. So if you have a flank on your team that may not be getting kills, but they're getting damage, don't get upset and say, dude, oh my god, we need kills. Like, I have games as Zin repeatedly, and I've said this before, where I literally, this is what I do as Zin. Alright, so we're gonna reset here. Ready? It's not far enough, that's okay. So I'm like, okay. Whirling! Wah! 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 Wah!
Killing spree!
Wah! 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 Oh, bail him out! Ah! Yeah!
Your luck.
That's what I do instead. Now, normally I'm going up against a lot higher health champions as Sky. It's just it's better here because, well, there's like 5 people here. So this is kind of how I simulate a team sort of situation. That's why I use the shooting range for a team simulation. But just as an example, what did I do? I went straight for the back 3 people, and I just bounced around like a pinball between them. I didn't focus on killing any one person. I focused on doing damage to all 3. Now, why? A lot of people will sit there and say, why? Because your job is simply to disrupt the enemy team. Your job is not necessarily to get kills. Your job is to disrupt the enemy team. Getting kills and doing damage is a side effect. A positive side effect. A bonus. A raise. A new career. Anyway, I'm going on. But it's not your primary job. All you have to do to be a successful flank is disrupt the enemy team. You take damage. You take damage. You take you take damage. You take double damage. You take damage. You take damage. Billow out. Cancel. Whirl back in. You take damage. You take damage. You take damage. Oh, reload. You take damage. You take damage. See what I'm saying? My job is not to kill. If this is the healer and these 2 are the damages, I go after the healer first. The 2 damages focus on me. So I go after the damages to force the healer to heal them, which buys me time to come back around to the healer and finish them off. By that point, usually the damages have been fully healed up again, and rather than fight that with me at low health and them at full health, billow out. So how do you counter that? The first thing to note is if a flank on your team is pissing your team off. You'll see that a lot with Maves, with Zins, with Androxuses. Koga! Double team. Double team is very effective. Let's start with just naming off champions. I'm going to switch off of Zin. We're going to start at the top now and work down. This is just me showcasing. Looking at Zin here, looking at Zin Jr. here, fucking Koga, Zin Jr., what makes him annoying? Nobody really runs the Blood Reaper card. It's actually not effective. If you have your choice between Adrenaline Junkie and Blood Reaper, run Adrenaline Junkie. Your SMGs are better than your claws, and I really think that's the character design problem, is that his highest DPS weapon, his claws, his Wolverine, his Koga-ness! All the promotional material is Koga with these claws, and yet in-game they're kind of useless. I use them in a situation, rather than reload, if I'm out of energy, which means I can't reload on my Master of Arms build. Rather than reloading, I will generally switch. There's no reason for me to switch, though. I do more damage with my SMGs than I do with my claws. I mostly switch to the claws in a situation where, okay, I need to do this. I need to do damage. I need to do a heavy damage now, and I don't have time for so I need to switch to my claws. I need to do 1200 damage a second as opposed to doing 1500 damage a second with Koga Master of Arms. But that's another story. Adrenaline Junkie makes you very annoying because it allows you to shoot a few rounds and Shadow Step, and then shoot a few rounds and Shadow Step, because the energy you get from hitting your shots restores your energy. But it's not really an effective build because you're going to have to run the card. You need to run the card where Shadow Step respills ammo. It has to be higher than level 24. 24 shots is about what it takes to reload 1 bar of ammo. Or, 1 bar of your energy. So, basically, all you're doing is just regenerating rather than actually reloading. That doesn't count if you miss your shots. So eventually you have to reload, and that puts you in a bad position because it forces you to, at that point, expend your energy that you fight so hard to get. It does make you very annoying with the dash bullshit. He also has agility, which is not listed here, but I'll explain that in a minute. Agility is a very annoying ability because it can combo with Adrenaline Junkie and Master of Arms, and the Dragon Fangs doesn't really combo with Blood Reaper. Like, really? Why would you use it with Blood Reaper? Like I said, Blood Reaper is kind of annoying. Dragon Fangs is hard to do. You need a designated healer with it. You can't run it by yourself. You cannot run Dragon Fangs by yourself. Just plain and simple. Now, a good Koga can out-heal the damage that they lose on a Dragon Fangs build, and that's something that you want to play into countering him. Countering a Dragon Fangs Koga is very easy. Buy Haven, which cuts down on the amount of damage that he deals, which cuts down on the amount of healing he receives, and buy Cauterize. Buying Cauterize for one champion, a lot of people say is ineffective. I refer you to TDM games where they have a Buck on the team. How many games do I see where the team is running a Vivian on their team? They're running a Vivian, a Torvald, a Buck, a Victor, and a Tyra. And who the fuck? Everybody takes Cauterize because nobody wants to deal with Buck and his recovery. They say, fuck the shields. I don't give a rat's ass about that crap. That little Buck bitch is not going to get in my face with a boomstick and heal himself. He's got to choose. Same thing here. If Koga wants to use his claws, you make him not want to use them. You make him want to say, why am I losing 200 health per second? That's a great counter right there. But we're going to run Master of Arms, because this is the most OP build with the constant being able to shoot things. Now, for this, we're going to go over here. Here's an example. This is why it's OP. You ready? Go! That's why. Sorry, it isn't. A lot of people say, oh, well, Kogas aren't dangerous when they run out of energy. That's something a lot of people say. Allow me to explain. Oh my god! Actually, this is the wrong place to go. Hold up. Ooh, wrong place to go. the long path. Ah, yes, I keep forgetting it too. Alright, so Koga's aren't...
Double kill! Rampage! Triple kill! That's 7 in a row! Double kill!
Right, so... I'm low energy. I was low energy there, and I still kept getting kills. Because the key is circle strafe. One thing with Koga you need to realize is, Koga relies a lot on circle strafe. So let's say that this plant right here is our target, right? This is probably better with a wider open space, and we'll just use the plants as, like, objects. So this is what I do. So I'm all the way back here, you know. Ooh, the ninja. Ooh. Shadow step. Shoot. Reload. Reload. It works better if I was actually having a target to shoot, but that's an example. Koga does not require energy to be effective. Another thing I do want to highlight, by the way, I'm going to buy reload speed just to showcase this off. This is reload speed too. This is your reload speed. His reload speed is what needs to get nerfed. If you're gonna nerf anything on Koga, you need to nerf that reload speed. Cause that's bullshit right there. I could spend enough 1,200 credits to literally have almost infinite ammo at that point. Here's 2,400 credits. Oh my god! That's OP. Now, how do you counter a bullet hose like that? Well, for one thing, his ult is very balanced. There's no real good way to counter his ultimate. He outlasts moves like Grok and Maldamba with the Slither and Ghost Walk and things like that. Really, Ceres and Shadow Travel can outlast it, but usually she gets killed before the activation time. It's a hard ult to avoid. Haven's really ineffective against just that constant stream of fire. How do you counter him? Well, CC attacks are very helpful. If you want to look at specific champions you can run, Koga versus Koga is not a great matchup. Barrack is a good counter to him because of your turrets. One thing that Koga really doesn't handle well is group damage. And I think multiple people flanking you or double team is incredibly effective. If you want to counter Koga, if you want to counter Moji, what's another one? If you want to counter, I wouldn't even say him. If you want to counter Moji, if you want to counter Koga, if you want to counter Buck, if you want to counter Eevee, your best bet is a double team. Xin can handle double and triple teams very well. Xin is a pro at, a good Xin can handle a double or a triple team because you bounce between whirl, counter, billow, whirl, counter, billow, and managing your cooldowns. And Droxus is kind of same because he's got dash and reversal, so he can sort of play very similar to Koga. Whereas Koga really only has the 3 nether steps or agility. Choosing between nether step or agility being on the same cooldown, it makes it kind of hard for him. A Nanar Cripple is very effective. Genos with Void Grip Power Coliseum. That's kind of a waste though, the Void Grip Power Coliseum. Even though he can't dash out of it, really giving him that elevated position is not a smart thing to do. If you're gonna cripple me, I'm gonna sit up there with the elevated position and just murder you from below. Like, good job, you just gave me a bird's eye view of the map. Motherfucker, my ult, by the way, as Cyclone Strike with Koga, is actually a very wide radius. So I'll ult in a situation like that, A, because it makes me untargetable, which drops me right down, usually into your face, and murders you. So thank you for a free ultimate kill right there. Other things you need to realize, Khan is very effective as a counter if you can land a Commander's Grab on him with the 2-second stun on the Vortex Grab. High-hitting champions that can hit for one shot very quickly. Cassie, Drogo, Shaolin, Strix, Kanessa. They're very effective. In a pinch, a Fernando on Scorch is very effective because it forces him to use Shadow Step to heal. That's one of the keys that I talked about on the build, was if you look at this build right here, so every time I Shadow Step, that's 300 health. I can Shadow Step very quickly 3 times and get 900 health back. That's a little bit less than half my health on this build, which is 2150. So realizing that he can heal and reload almost instantly with 2-3 Shadow Steps, and the fact that he does so much damage, it generates that energy back. Especially on Adrenaline Junkie, it constantly is very hard to kill him if he's running a quote-unquote reset build like this. But there are counters to him. Another effective counter, by the way, is Sky, because Sky is able to hit him with poison bolts if you run the proper Sky build at such a rapid rate. It's actually fairly easy to counter. It's actually fairly easy to counter because even if he Shadow Stepped and removes the poison off of one, I hit him with a smoke grenade in between and my regular shots, and I usually have my poison bolts back off a cooldown. Now we look at Androxus. Androxus is an interesting champion. He's one of the few champions that can be taken on in a 1v1 quite successfully. His Nether Step is the key to his mobility because it does give him such a high mobility. Without it, he's kind of trash in terms of mobility. No offense to Androxus players out there. Admit it. If you can't dash up into the air or dash in and out of trouble, are you really as effective? You have, there's so many Androxuses that I see that run nimble because when they run out of their dashes, when their dashes are on cooldown, they don't have that mobility, that lateral side-to-side sidestep mobility. Now, Defiant Fist is a card very few people use. It can be powerful because it gives you your ability for your punch to be a one-shot. It's also highly ineffective because I see a lot of punch Droxuses that just walk around the map fisting people. They literally walk around doing this. They're not in punch range, but they're still doing this. They want you to know they're coming to punch you. As I just turn around ever so slightly and go, bang. Sometimes bang again. And very rarely bang a third time, and they're dead. Because they sat there the entire time, trying to punch you. Note to Androxus players. Androxus is the easiest flank in the game to counter when all you do is punch. When all you do is Nether Step, punch, 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 Nether Step, punch, 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 punch. You're not Mike Tyson. You're not Muhammad Ali. You're not Rocky Mariano. I butchered that name. I'm tired. You'll have to excuse me. Point in theory. Your punch is what you use in close range. Now, a lot of people say that, well, there's no reason you should use your handgun because your punch does more damage. Okay, heads will roll. Headshots, this is about 750 damage. I'll test it out for you in a minute. And you get 2 extra rounds, so you can get 2 revolver rounds off a minute, or wow, that's a horrible rate of fire. 2 revolver rounds a second that deal 1500 damage versus 1 punch per second that does 700 damage. Your choice. Well, headshots require skill, so then get skill. Learn. Take the time in the shooting gallery on the pips that go back and forth. Use your auto aim setting on this. It's better to learn how to play a champion more effectively than it is to fuck around and say, this is what I run because it's all I can run. I'm not calling out new players because I actually see a lot of new players as bad as some of them are. Literally as bad as some of them are, they're trying. All I ask from randos in games is that you try. Don't go in and say, oh, we've lost! I almost lost my controller. Oh, we've lost! No, commit suicide! I report people for shit like that. I get people like that banned. Oh, this bullshit. If you don't like the way the game is going, you have the power to turn it around. You are empowered. I am now a motivational speaker. I'm Tony What's-His-Face. I don't fucking care. I am empowering you. You are all empowered. Go be empowered. Turn the game around. You don't like the direction the game is going? Change it. You need to be the catalyst for your team. If your team, the team that you're stuck with, decides they don't want to do their job, you know what? There's no better time to work on your skills than how to carry a team. I'm not level 224 because I sit there and let the other 4 players on the team carry me. I have bad games from time to time where I do need to be carried. Daddy, I need a piggyback wide. But I do a lot of carrying. Now, granted, people say, oh, you run Moji too much. Moji's a noob too. Moji's too easy to run. I'm still carrying your ass. Just because you're bitching because I'm carrying your ass doesn't mean anything. If you have to run a noob tube to carry a team, you run a noob tube to carry a team. If you get a win, you get a win. Any win is better than a loss. Heads will roll is an effective card. Godslayer is an effective card. How do you counter? Let's do heads will roll, just because for one thing I want to show something off. I'm gonna do a point blank headshot just because I want to show how much damage it is. All right, ready? 1,040 damage. You want to see something fun? 2 shots, 1 second, bitch dead. I'm sorry, what? It took me 5 punches, 3 of which hit, in order to kill her. I'm sorry, what?
Not like this.
Now what's better? Punch, 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 punch. Bam, bam. You there, Sky. Oh, I had to use 3 bullets as opposed to... Oh, you wonder why it's not working. Because you're over here. And she's over there. Now, how do you counter an Androxus? Well, for one thing, when Androxus goes airborne, it's very hard for a good player to actually hold X and shoot and aim and move at the same time. That requires 4 to 5 buttons that are being held, moved, or pressed at the same time. Very hard to do unless you're running a scheme like this, because it's very hard unless you're running a claw. I pressed that button by accident. Unless you're running a claw grip, something similar to this, it's hard to do. Right? You see this grip? This is not an effective grip in game unless you have it like sitting on your lap or something. One thing is Androxus' reversal can very easily get pulled out of. A lot of champions that can stun, that can use a commander's grab, they can do that. Another thing you can do is a knockback situation. Where if you just knock him backwards.
What goes around?
Ah! I got knocked this way. I had to simulate actually getting physically knocked back there. If I got knocked back by, say, a Cassie disengage, you know, I may hit somebody, but I'm not going to hit my intended target. His mobility is also kind of boring. Alright, so I just dashed to get in. Now I have a lengthy cooldown before I can get out. So if everything goes to shit, I've got to pull up my reversal. And if I don't hit my reversal, I don't reduce the cooldown. I'm still in the shit. Now I can see! As a makeshift emergency, you can also use your ult to get out, which is rather stupid. Ooh! Bam! Bye, bitch. Yeah, I don't care, it's a bot. I didn't think I was gonna land that last shot, to be honest. And from this range, I headshotted her from this range. Like, now I'm like, oh my god, that's a showcase right there. Also note that your punch doesn't hit from over here. That's just for Androxus players who didn't know that. Your punch does not hit from over here! That's why you have a gun. That does 460 damage at this range compared to 0.
Unstoppable!
I was a little bit off on my headshots there. CC is always a good counter to flank champions because it limits their mobility, but more so on Androxus, you can limit his reversal with CC-based attacks, so half of his loadout's gone. And to be honest, Androxus really isn't a threat unless you know how to snipe with Androxus, like me. Punching really means he's a problem up close, and to be honest, if you're up close, there are better champions than him. You have to realize that look at the maximum range that you can punch somebody at. I cannot hit her here. Okay, I literally cannot hit her here. She does more damage at this range because she can constantly back up with her faster movement speed. So if you have to backpedal while doing that in order to get a kill, go right ahead. It's a viable strategy. The next one we're going to talk about is Buck. I need to speed this along because I spent so long monologuing that it's now 30 minutes in. Buck is annoying because he does have 3 viable options here. Buck on bulk up is very easy to counter. What you need to realize is he doesn't boost his damage at all. So, Cauterize is incredibly effective in that situation. Cauterize should be taken against Buck anyways. Buck also has a long time in between reloads, and a lot of times people just activate his ult just to automatically reload and get that infinite ammo. If you're wondering why a Buck uses their ultimate in certain situations, it's simply because they need to reload and they don't feel like going through that long reload. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then firing. Or 1 fire, 1 fire, 1 fire. Now, Bounce House is annoying if you're near the edge of the map. For the knockback, or if you're near a death trap even. Other than that, there's not a lot of counter to it. Another thing too that a lot of people don't really realize, Bounce House is annoying where it knocks you back. It also knocks you out of shotgun range. Where, yes, you'll still get hit, but you're not going to get hit by that 700 shotgun range. So, him using that is not a very effective tool unless he's trying to knock you into something. Into a smart Buck with Bounce House will try and knock you into a firebomb. So your positioning is key. You can also control yourself in air, and if you have a movement ability of your own, you can do that. For example, if I'm playing Fernando and he tries to bounce me off the point, I'll charge right back into him and get that space advantage back, because I have more Cauterize than he does with my flamethrower. So if he's gonna sit there and try and heal up because I'm spitting fireballs at him, I'm still gonna Cauterize that. Ensnare is really what is annoying because it's hard to counter the slow, especially now that it guarantees a minimum of 2 seconds of being ensnared. We're gonna run Ensnare just to showcase something. One thing with Buck is knowing how to counter is between reload times. So, bam, bam, now I have to reload. So now is the time to shoot. When he's reloading is the time to get your damage in, because he doesn't have a way to retaliate. And a lot of Bucks, smart Bucks, will jump when they need to reload or heal. A smart Buck, if they have their jump on cooldown, off of cooldown, they don't sit there like this in your face, reloading 5 feet away from you. What do? They reload while they're jumping. That was a horrible reload. Say they could heal. So let's say I'm jumping right there and I heal. It's harder to jump away than it is forwards. So what I generally do is, okay, let's fire up a couple of rounds here. So I'm firing up as I'm closing in.
Stick the landing!
That way there, when I land behind them, I can fire off shots right away. So how do you counter that? Basically you practice against Eevee. Practicing against Buck and Eevee with a wormhole is very similar because they're both going to try and get behind you and get up in your face. Eevee not so much. Eevee's going to try and stay more mid-range. Well, smart Eevee does. But you have to look, Buck does his most damage up close. You would think range is your advantage. Don't. Bucks want to be in close range, but Bucks don't like it when you know how to handle yourself. A Makoa chain is a very effective way to do that. Makoa chain, he's already in close range, it just stuns him and knocks him out of being able to shoot you. It gives him a free hit. And if he's already low, that forces him to heal instead of shooting you, which gives you a second free hit. That's really the key to flanks, is knowing where and when to get free hits in. Most flanks have the ability to heal when they escape. I think Skye's one of the few exceptions, which is why a lot of people shit on her, but I'll explain that in a little bit. Knowing how to counter is making them use their escape ability to handle you. Other good counters are Leon. Leon's hit scan is very effective because she has multiple attacks that can do damage over area. I call her a spread champion. Her damage that she deals is direct damage, so you can't call her an area damage dealer. She's a spread damage. She deals area over a spread on the map. So it makes it very hard for Buck to counter, because yes, he can get up in her face. She has an ability that lets her dash away and do damage. She has a long range advantage that does more damage than Buck does, and if he gets up in close, she can belt more shots than he can. She has 8 rounds, he has 4 rounds. She reloads faster than he does, and she deals more damage per second because she can land 2 shots for 800 a pop, as opposed to Buck, who lands one shot every 3/4 second for 700. So she has a range advantage with the 2 shots versus the one and the 100 damage and the 100 more damage and the faster reload. So Buck is not always good in close range. Range is your friend, believe it or not, getting up into a flank's face. Flanks have a similar mentality to front lines. That aggressive, I'm gonna fucking kill you all! How many games do I just scream with rage and furious anger as Moji, just getting pissed off and carrying the team on my back? Double kill, triple kill, quadra kill, pentakill! Getting fucking pissed off and saying, get the fuck off my point! That's the mentality a flank has in the way that a front line has, but flanks have more mobility and less sustain compared to a tank. But the same rules kind of apply, CC and getting up in their face. Flanks like being up in your face. They don't like it when you can turn the tables and do the same to them, especially in a double team. Eevee is incredibly hard to counter one-on-one.
Spend my credits.
Over the Moon allows her to fly away and then turn around and shoot you from wherever she's landed and deal more damage, dealing over 1,000 a shot. I like it because it gives me a sniping option. I like her as my anti-sniper. Over the Moon with the bonus damage, it's very effective. Wormhole makes her annoying. It doesn't really do anything. Now, yes, you can heal rapidly. You can get 2 heals of 375 in your load. If you built your loadout right, you can get 2 heals within 3 seconds for 375 a pop. Whereas Reprieve, you can sort of contest and sit on the point. Reprieve is kind of a death sentence because they'll just sit there and camp your ice block. Yes, you can heal out of it, but like a Shaolin can still one-shot you out of it. And Wormhole is ineffective, believe it or not. And just what I mean by that is the constant teleporting works to the enemy team's advantage, because they'll know. Let's run the Wormhole build here. They'll know, okay, so here's... Alright, so... Shoot, blink, shoot, blink, shoot. Problem. A smart player knows... Okay, I just blinked. They're not gonna turn around and shoot me. They're not gonna do it. A smart player doesn't do it. Oh, I burned the cooldown. Fuck. Let's try this again. A smart player's not gonna shoot me. Bang. Now they're gonna shoot me. They're gonna wait until I teleport back, knowing I'm gonna teleport. Because here's the thing. You have 3 seconds. You saw what I just did there. So I teleport. I get 1 shot, 2 shot. I go to teleport. I just make it. The cooldown was literally a half second behind me. So if I can get 2 free shots before I have to make that decision. And at that point, then I can turn around and shoot him. Eevee also relies more on mobility than any other champion because she has 3 escape abilities, basically. A damage immunity, a teleport, and the ability to fly away. So, champions that can follow her are very effective. I can blink, ice block, I can't blink again, can I? Blink, yes I can, fly away. Whoa, whoop-de-doo, I'm up here, blink again. Oh, what's that? I said blink again. And you know, if all a Bomb King bomb has to do is have a bomb right there. And I would have been stunned and been unable to do that. Not to mention the fact that if you look at all that mobility I have, I didn't do any damage. So that really serves my point of her being an annoyance. It's the fact that, oh, woo, look at me flying around, look at me teleporting, oh my god, ice block, oh my god, come out with a teleport, oh, I'm back here, teleport again, blam, blam, now I'm shooting. It takes that long to annoy the enemy team, really, to be successful. The next one we're gonna go is Maeve. Maeve is a rather hard champion to counter. She does have a decent build. We're gonna do Street Justice because is there anything else? Street, really with Maeve, what you have to realize is she has long-range snipe power. Look at the... I can kill people just by arcing my shots ever so slightly. You see the amount of range I'm able to do. I can hit her. I'll hit her. Move up a little bit. There we go. And I can consistently peg damage from that long of a range. Not to mention the fact I can get up close and wah! And then reset it, wah! And then finish him off. She's hard because of that. Burst, 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 ha, 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 ninja, ninja, wah! Type damage. That was really annoying for you guys. I apologize for that. But, you know what a Maeve has a big problem with? Okay, so I activate Prowl, and then I go to shoot, and my Prowl ends. So there I lose my mobility. And okay, yes, I can still bunny hop, and yes, I can still flick daggers like nobody's business. But I have to constantly do this shit, and my aim is kind of hard. I've got to balance being able to bunny hop and move the right analog stick in between, and against moving targets is kind of hard to do. You know, so I'm not getting it. And then yes, I can use that as a closer type move, but really, range is another one where range is her friend. She does have that very long dash that lets me just BAM! In your face. And it's very effective for getting in close, which Maeve is one of those few champions like Emoji you don't want to deal with in close range. But another good thing to do is a burst damage. Cassie lands one shot on her, it's going to send her reeling. It's going to force her to bunny hop and sidestep. Looking here, no, that's not what I want to do. So I get shot, I now have to circle strafe with Maeve, which I could be potentially circle strafing into the rest of the team. Double teams are definitely advantageous, but you see how I'm missing my shots? By bunny hopping, just because what she forced me to do by me taking enough damage, but not enough damage where I run away and try to heal up, but enough damage where it just kind of like annoys me and says, okay, I need to stop taking that direct damage. Lex is a very easy champion to counter on any build but heroism. On any build but heroism, you have to realize he's gonna hug his damage and his auto aim. Heroism gives him survivability, but it doesn't give him flexibility. Also note that yes, you deal a lot of damage on headshots. Look at all of the shots right there.
Killing spree. I can't use that yet. No one escapes the law.
I missed that horribly. Just to show off the example there, you know, his ult is also very subjective. He can miss a lot of his ults. I love how Sky is actually my turn. And you can actually miss a lot of your shots in close range unless you actually focus. If you're just spraying it, it's hard to do. You need to make sure you have a bead on the target because you only have 10 rounds. Going like this is ineffective trying to hit just one shot. You want to try and focus on what I like to call a burst. Most Lexus just do this and just spam it as fast as they can. Ah! Ah! I am shooting in your direction! You will take damage! Ah! No. Focus on hitting a few shots at a time. 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, stop. 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 See what I'm doing? And also use your pursuit as a finisher move. How do you counter something like that? Well, for one thing, you have to realize that if Lex is gonna focus on just inaccuracy, then your accuracy helps. An automatic fire champion that's accurate, like Victor or Vivian, or Koga with the reduced recoil, is very effective for getting up in his face. A champion that has longer range accuracy, Cassie, Shaolin, Strix, Kanessa, Leanne, they can peg him for more consistent shots. And if he wants to be a burst fire 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 type champion like that, then you counter that by doing your own close spray and pray. Force him to slide out of range of you is your best bet. Because at that point, if he is not doing spray and pray, you can do that and counter it easier. Now we look at Moji. I want to explain to you why Moji is such a hard champion to deal with. Okay? Allow me to explain. Wrong way.
Did you
Ow. I let her get the first hit. Hold on. I'm gonna let her heal. I should go after this.
Double kill.
Ooh. 5.
Double kill.
I was doing so
That's
good.
why. Nope, magic barrier! Nope, magic barrier! Nope, magic barrier! What the fuck was that scamper? That scamper was horrid. Did it just like scamper me in place because I wasn't moving a direction I want to see? Yeah, it just scampered me in place because I wasn't moving. That's weird. Your ult is also very hard to hit. Allow me to demonstrate, alright? So I'm gonna try and hit the ult as they move. Also, realize that you have a long range capability here.
I gotta spend these shiny things.
I can peg you for 250 damage all the way over here. Plain and simple. But, if I want to do the burst of my damage, I have to get up close in order to be effective. Now, I like being up close with Moji. I don't like necessarily range. Champions like Victor, where they can consistently run away as opposed to run away on a cooldown, are very annoying. This right here is a situation I love. Grouped up, because this is exactly what I do. Ready?
Rampage. Double kill.
And I bounce out.
Kill. Unstoppable.
There you go. That's how Moji is effective in close. How do you counter that? Double team. You know what the problem with this situation is? This bitch right here is not shooting me. Turn the fuck around and shoot me. If this bitch was shooting at me while I'm killing her friends over here, we wouldn't have this problem. Now all of her friends are dead, and I say hi, bye, triple, quad, penta, fuck you, stay over.
Kill.
And all because this bitch didn't shoot me, and this bitch didn't shoot me, and this bitch over here probably didn't shoot me. It's just the people I'm going after tend to shoot me. Because I'm gonna get up in your face. So, you need to realize that if you're shooting, I can defend against you shooting me from the front because I'm shooting you from the front. And I can dish out more than you can. If this bitch right here starts shooting at me, and I've got her shooting at me, well, now I have a problem. Now I have to magic barrier out in order to reposition. Now I have a choice. This bitch is closer to me, I can kill her. She was already low. Do I kill her? That indecision is what kills me. Not to mention the fact that, by the way, your scamper is not effective. Wee! I run away. Oh, I'm dead. Wee! I run away. Oh, I'm dead. Wee! I run away. Oh, I'm dead. That's why I use it more as a closer for your ult. Because you go, if you ult somebody at point blank range, you don't need to. Like, I love when Anara tries to cripple me. She, like, gets right up on me and drops the cripple on me because I just pull my ult out and kill her on contact. If you ult somebody that is hugging you, you eat them as you ult them. So it's like instant. It's literal like instant. There's no, I have to move forward 2 steps. It's literal just cookie, chomp, Moji's very easy to counter for that reason, because I just need somebody shooting me in the ass to make it a problem. People shooting me in front aren't gonna do anything. I'm just gonna sit here and detonate all my fucking magic marks in your face. Hi, Sky. How you doing? Big, 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 big. 750, 750, 750, 350, 350, 773, yeah, blam, blam, blam. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. I get giddy when I play Moji. I'm sorry. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. It's fucking Moji. Moji's my baby. It's like my dog. I almost want to put Shala in here because he's more of a flank, but we're gonna look at the last three because this video is going on long enough. So you look at Sky. How do you counter Sky? Well, a lot of people say eliminate. You have to realize that's kind of cheap. A good Sky does not rely on their invisibility. It's noob Skies that say, I'm invisible. Ooh, you can't see me. I don't want to do. Now, realize that Poison Bolt Sky is the most effective anti-tank in the game. Better than Koga. Allow me to explain. Boom!
Stare at a woman's bomb.
How fast do I kill a predator? Let's say he was being killed with it. Boom! 2 poison bolts! Damage in between. He's dead. Bounce, bitches.
Killing spree. Double
And then
kill.
hit him with the bolt
Triple
and finish
kill.
him off.
That's 5 in a row.
That is how a Sky is effective. Is that ability to hit a tank for so much burst damage. What the problem with Sky is, she has no escape other than to bounce out with her invisibility, or her smoke grenade, which, believe it or not, is not as effective, or her damage. Right? Now, she has good burst damage. You can run smoke grenade, which is what I do a lot of times, but for true anti-tank, you run debilitate, and the amount of cauterize I put on there really does negate healing. Also note that you do have a consistent and steady range that you can murder people at.
Catch me
Your
if you
poison
can.
bolt eventually becomes a sort of a fire and forget type weapon.
That's 7 in a row. Double kill.
It's a very effective fire and forget type weapon. Hit you, hit you, hit you, hit you. And if I was spraying shots in between, it would work even more effectively. So, with Sky, countering her is very effective. Sky does like to be in your face. Also, with her being such low health at 2,000, really one Shaolin shot forces her to retreat. You can't take a Shaolin shot and legitimately say, I am going to kill you. I am coming for you. I'm going to murder your family. I'm going to go Liam Neeson on you. I'm done. That's the pips again. Why do I keep forgetting that? Just to give you an example right here. This is how effective a high DPS is. Oh. I'm dead. 3 shots. Now, yes, I can get a poison on you as I move up. But I still can't beat you there. You have 1 sliver of health.
Oh, did
Now I
I
only
stick
need
you
the 1
too
shot
hard?
to kill you. But still, the fact that she does more damage as I get up close than the other way around is key. Now, the next champion that we're going to showcase off is Talus here. Talus is very hard to counter. Not because of his mobility. He doesn't have it. Mostly because of his teleport. He can pop wherever the hell he came from. And no, camping him is not a viable option because of Faustian Bargain. You don't necessarily know if a Talus is going to run at the beginning of the game. So sitting there as a Bomb King and saying, bam, 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 and then detonate him as soon as he comes back doesn't really work. Because he can just do that. Not to mention the fact that he can just ult out. So, I mean, like, yeah. The big thing is a lot of people say, overcharge, will overcharge this and overcharge that. The big thing you need to realize with Talus, people bitch about spamming overcharge. It is an effective option. What are his attack options? Punch, overcharge, teleport, and shoot. Teleport doesn't work. The punch is kind of broken. That missed. That should have hit. So my options are, of course, overcharge. also the rather lengthy cooldown. The pop in and out is helpful, especially with reset on cooldown. That should have hit, and it didn't. There's your problem. The punch is kind of broken. Your punch should be your escape tool. It really should. Alright, right.
I hate waiting.
Look at that. That completely whiffed. That's the thing with Talus. Forcing him to teleport when he doesn't want to is really the key to countering a good Talus. And then Xin, we already said cripple. Now, the reason why I'm cutting this short is because I'm rather bored right now. I actually want to play. But before I go, I do want to... Because I did more talking about how to counter that. For one thing, let's start with general tips. Double team is always effective. Skye, don't focus on Illuminate. Xin, focus on his mobility. His mobility is very key for bouncing in between targets like a pinball and annoying you with damage. The thing to realize is his mobility is effective, but it's only effective because you let it. Because you try to move to counter his movement around you, that's not really helping you. Flanks revolve around their ability to move around to counter you moving around. They're faster than you. They're better at you than moving. Face it, I don't care if you're a flank tank, a flank is better at flanking than you. Fernandos and Makoas and Khans and Terminuses that sit there and think, I've got a movement ability so I can play flank. They're better at it than you. Don't think that you moving plays into their... You moving makes their job harder. Good flanks know how to adjust to that. Unless you just outright run away. Like, if you outright run away, fucking hightail it as Victor, you'll never take me alive! Then, you know, I can see that. Right here, before we end the video, I just want to showcase this up. The ninja! The ninja! Now, what's funny is, you go to challenges, and I still haven't unlocked that one. Now, I had to send an email to Hi-Rez, which I thank them for, because I have had 3 top plays as Cassie. Hit an enemy with disengage. I've killed 2, 3 people at a time with 1 blast shot. Literal, disengage, blast shot, 3 people dead. Top play. And that won't unlock. And it still won't unlock. But I have my ninja title, so all is fine. Thanks for watching. This has not been informative at all. It's been more me rambling than anything, but I'm going to put up some gameplay now. Fuck it.